All right. This is another one of our episodes of Chris and Kyle Explore the Universe. One of our podcast numbers, I don't know. We have a very special guest today. Kyle Scanlon is out sick today. We think his dog passed away. We wish him the best. Maybe he passed away. I don't know. He might not join the pod anymore. It's unfortunate. If there is something wrong with him, we do have a physician in-house. Dr. Ben Cauglin. Welcome to the show, Doc. Good to have you.
Thank you, Chris. I'm happy to be here.
So I came across the doctor. He's actually has a huge following. You'd say micro. Austin, what's micro-influencer? Like above 15,000 or 20,000? Yeah, he has a great following on Instagram, TikTok. You're very forward with your socials. A mutual friend of ours said that we should connect. And then you started texting me saying you're interested in comedy, want to pick my brain. And then I started immediately making fun of you saying, let me pick your brain about plastic surgery.
I think you actually asked me for the penis enlargement,
Yeah.
picking my brain about penis enlargement for the record.
I did. I said, if you can get me a dick implant, we can talk. So I immediately started joking with you.
And I offered you some of mine because it gets in the way sometime.
Oh, so we have is that natural? Or you've done some stuff down there?
Man, it's all natural.
Did you?
What do they say? Don't get high on your own supply.
Don't get high on your own supply. Did you always think I want to go into plastics, or you kind of did the thing when I'll go wherever they accept me?
No, yeah, I actually wanted to be an architect, and then again, the economy was kind of shitty at that time when I was in undergrad. My mother's a nurse, and she's like, you can't be an architect. You're not going to make any money. You're going to have a shitty job, you know. That was my junior year of college. I switched. I just decided to take the MCAT or whatever it takes. I did well on that. And then when you get into med school, then you decide, like, okay, I don't want to be a cardiologist and tell people that their blood pressure is high. Like, that's boring. So, you're going to do surgery. And then when you're in surgery, you kind of just keep going until you pick your little subspecialty.
Because I have a few friends who are plastic surgeons. You have to do general surgery training, right?
So I did head and neck surgery first. So I only do face now. Then I did facial plastic surgery as a fellowship.
Oh, wow. So you're a double fellow.
Yeah, I did. I'm board certified in head and neck and facial plastics.
So when did you switch to facial plastics? How long were you head and neck?
It's 5 years, that program.
Oh, so right after you went into plastics.
I did my fellowship in LA.
Okay. How long was the plastics fellowship?
It's just 1 year, so it's 6 years total. So and that's how most of the plastics now are integrated for the body people too. It used to be the body guys had to do 5 years general surgery, which is like, cholecystectomy, taking out gallbladders, bowel surgery, and then they do plastics for 3 years after. So that's why, like, my route was better at that time, you know what I mean? Because I did 5 years of head and neck, so it's just like all face, big facial cancers and stuff, and then 1 year fellowship of plastics in the face.
I have a BB from when I was 15 in the right side of my cheek. I was shot by my neighbor. His older brother didn't like how I was talking to his girlfriend that day. I was 14. He pumped it and hit me here, and it's one of those copper BBs, and it's inside my jaw muscle where my dad's friend who's in plastics actually put me under. They went through it, and he said it was too close to the nerve. Yeah. Said doesn't want to touch it, and it's been sitting there. I've had a lot of surgeons say all we got to do is cut here, peel it back, and get it out.
I might be able to get it from the inside of the mouth. I do a lot of my surgeries are from inside the mouth. But most of that, like I do trauma at Cook County, and when somebody gets shot, if the bullet's not causing an issue, you just leave it.
You leave bullets in there
you
too?
Just leave them, yeah. Yeah, because you can cause more harm getting them out. I mean, it doesn't bother you, right? It's cool.
No. I'm a gunshot victim.
Exactly, you are. Chicago gunshot victim. I mean, just stop it there. No, don't expand anymore.
So how do you go from somebody walks in, says, I don't like this about myself, and you're doing that surgery to you're doing trauma at Cook County? So you want the trauma too. You missed it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing less and less, but I still like it, Like, that's when I'm a real doctor, my mother says, so.
So you never hung up the head and neck?
No, I still do a facial trauma at Cook County, yeah.
What do you think of all the people who are like, oh, I'm going to get my plastics done in Thailand, I'm going to get my plastics done in Tijuana, and they're trying to save a few $1,000?
There are good surgeons everywhere. Anybody who does a lot of cosmetic surgery has seen some really bad stuff, and then the problem is if your surgeon is in Tijuana or Thailand or whatever, and something goes bad, then it's hard to get fixed. I had a woman come to my office and she had a really bad infection. She went to Mexico somewhere, and then I drained it for her. Like I dealt with it because what are you gonna do? And then I charged her like the setup fee. It was like $1,000, and she got super pissed, gave me a bad Google review. But it's like, come on, man. I mean, so there's good surgeons there, but if you have the money, I would do it here.
What is going on with women's lips? Like, at what point do you guys say, and the dentists and everybody who's just doing it? I mean, now there's just people on Instagram, I'm a certified injector. Yeah. Like, your job was never to make people look worse.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. If the tuition of my kid's school goes up, then I no, I'm kidding. I mean, this really gets to it.
You gotta make money somehow.
This really gets to it. So, I mean, I do fillers, I do non-surgical stuff, but it's not my wheelhouse. I make most of my living by surgery. So the problem, and you got to be careful because some of these companies are really powerful. If I had a car, would get
I don't want them to get you.
Yeah, don't have them get me. But the companies really make money by just pushing the product, telling people more. So all the official trainings say you got to put 3 syringes in the lips. Then a lot of these nurse injectors or people, that's how they make their living. So you go and see me, you want your lips bigger. I do a lot of guys' lips, by the way.
You can do my lips?
I can do your lips, yeah. I do a lot of guys' lips. You'd be surprised. The number of straight men that I do surgery on is crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they don't let you post it and show people, but I do a lot. But anyways, can't
wait to get my lips plumped.
Yeah, it makes a difference. I could use it. I mean, look, I got little white girl lips.
Oh, you've been doing your lips?
No, but I should. I should, but I don't. Yeah.
So you're like a trainer that doesn't work out.
Yeah, pretty much. I told you, don't get high on your own supply. But the nurse injector people, and this isn't only them. There's other doctors that make money that way, but they only make money by making you do more. Like, hey, what do you think, doc? Well, do another one. It's $1,000 every one you do.
So it's a racket.
It's a little bit of you got to find someone you trust and be clear with your goals. Because, I mean, there's a lot of shitty people out there, I would say.
There's a comic that I work with who retired from ER. He was an ER doctor for 30 years. I think I've seen him. He's around Chicago. Bill, very funny guy. Yeah. And there were some girls that came and said, good set after the show. And he looked at me and he said, Chris, what is going on with girls in your generation that the augmentation they're doing to their lip? He's like, I don't understand it. And I said, ask your friends in plastics. I have no fucking clue. Guys don't think it looks good. But like at times, girls nice lips, but the closer you get, and then if you kiss them and it's hard, you're like,
listen, there's a bell curve, right? Like there's people who don't do it. There's people who way overdo it. And then there's a lot of women and men out there. You're like, damn, that person's hot. And maybe they just had really well done lip filler. Maybe they came to many faces of Chicago. Like everybody recognizes the people that could use it and the people that look really goofy. But the people in the middle, you probably just don't know. Or maybe you don't know.
Can you tell? Like, can you watch TV? Obviously, CGI is crazy now. And can you be like, Brad Pitt is 60 because he does all this shit?
I can make some pretty good predictions, yeah. Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
Like, how do I look? I'm 20 years younger than him. I still don't look as good as him. Like Brad Pitt, like he's 60. How does he look like that? Being an alcoholic for 40 years.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Is it genetics? At that point, are you like,
he's probably a little lucky, but he's got kind of thin skin. You wouldn't think his skin would age that well. I bet he spends a lot of money on it. Just slow. Those people have, completely disposable income, right? So if you do a little something every day, he looks pretty good, right? He doesn't look overdone.
No, it makes me horny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there you go.
So what's a little something I could do every day? Like elephant penis you rub on your face. That's what Tom Cruise is doing for a while.
Yeah, you gotta be careful following his lead, I think. But I mean, not every day. I'm talking once a month. You come, you do a little skin treatment, laser, just kind of maintenance stuff. The little Botox, they call it baby Botox. Like just dab it in there. You can do it really natural.
But what about the people with Botox 20 years later who are like,
the Botox wouldn't do that? Yeah.
No. So there's right ways to do it.
Yeah, it's like anything, man. It's like you can obviously there's a lot of people that you think like, damn, they look good, and I guarantee they're doing something. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of people who are naturally beautiful and don't do anything, but particularly me doing all the TikTok, YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at myself like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my God. Like these people who are on TV every day, I think that's their problem. They treat their faces to be look good in a certain view or on some video. And, with lights, with makeup, they can look way different than they do in reality. So then somebody catches them on a non-set, like Austin set up for you here. Like, he dialed us up before and prepped us for the camera. That's what makes them look goofy. They don't care. They look at themselves like every day, super micro,
Like the Kardashians are so natural.
Exactly, yeah. Like they're just lucky people, yeah. Now, I would say they look pretty good for probably how much they're doing, I mean, some of their body stuff may be off, but most of their, who was it? It was just in the news looking a little bit goofy at Paris Fashion Week. I think it's Kylie. You can see like her under eye filler or something, and people are really hating on her for it. So, I mean, it's hard.
But Chloe looks like a different. First, she looked like OJ.
Yeah.
Now she looks like someone else.
Yeah, they are a little bit. It's it's the word in the medical community is perception drift. So what happens is people they look at something, they come in and they say, "Doc, I don't like this nasolabial fold." So what they go to some injector who is making money on this. They pay him $40,000 or something ridiculous, and they make this fold go away by making their cheeks super big, like the Madonna look. You know what doesn't have nasolabial folds? Chimpanzees don't have nasolabial folds. My toddlers have nasolabial folds. So they treat it, and the person's happy because there's no nasolabial fold, but they're not looking at their whole face, So that's what makes them look goofy, ultimately.
It's called the perception
drift, yeah, because every day they're just looking, so their perception of themselves is drifting away till all they see is this nasolabial fold, and it's gone. So they're happy. And their injector's happy because they made $40,000, their nasolabial fold's gone. They take photos, they're like, look, your fold's gone, it's gone. But then somebody else walks by and they're like, what the fuck?
I have perception drift psychologically with my age. Like I like hanging out 25-year-old guys and going to bars.
Yeah.
And then I think my perception drift. I don't understand. I probably shouldn't be there.
Well,
but I pay for all the drinks.
Yeah. Well, that's nice of you. Yeah, I'm sure every field. I mean, perception drift just happens with repetitive. You get habituated to those kind of scenarios. Like it's normal for you to hang out with 25-year-olds. Like I'd be like, fuck, dude, I gotta get out. Actually, that's part of my problem with stand-up, because I'm very novice. So I got to go to all these open mics, and it's a bunch of 25-year-old kids. You got to be there for 6 hours before you get on set for 3 minutes. It's killer.
I had my cousin's uncle, but non-relation to me on his mom's side. He was in Iran. He was a internist, and he had a practice and did well, but he had 2 young kids. This is 20 years ago, and he wanted to move to D.C. for his 2 twin boys who were 6. Moved here. He became an X-ray tech because he didn't want to go through the residency at 50 years old and do all that. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because he consults with the physicians and they go to him with questions, knowing everything that he knows.
It's not uncommon because I don't think any country right now we validate their license without repeating residency, which is crazy. I mean, it's literally like torture. I mean,
you don't think that should be done?
I don't think they should have to repeat it. They should somehow be able to test out of it, But there's other countries that are reciprocal. My wife's from Spain, and I've looked at practicing in Spain, and I think I can do it. You got to pay a lot of money, but they have reciprocal ones for us now. It's like, you don't let me do it, I'm not going to let you do it. Different countries,
What part of Spain?
Madrid.
So is that where you guys want to retire at?
I don't know. We'll probably be kind of like floaters. We have a little condo there, so we go back and forth a lot.
Oh, so you don't practice there?
No, not yet.
How's the plastics in Spain?
You make much less money there. Now, I think you can create some sort of a traveling, that would be my plan. But you need less money. The cost of living is like, a tenth of what it is here in Madrid,
What about the asses that are getting so big?
It's another one. I would say similar.
What are they putting in it? Like, why is their ass that big?
The large majority are fat. They take the fat from the belly and put it in the butt. But there are silicone implants. I've seen, and there's reports of people, in the back alleys using the tire inflator stuff. I mean, people have died from getting botched BBL, the Brazilian butt lift.
What was that show on TV on FX with the plastic surgeons?
Botched?
No, there was another one before that. Oh, you don't watch TV. You're so useless to me.
We were on an episode of Botched, me and my partner. Actually.
You were?
Yeah, they had a issue with one of their patients that lived in Chicago, so we took her to the OR, and we were on for 15 seconds. But
so I'm a patient. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a consult with you. I sit down. How does it go? Dr. Cauglin, I'm here to talk to you about some stuff. And do you say, like what they say in the movies, what don't you like about yourself?
You say exactly. I pretty much say, okay, what are we working on? Yeah, that's my.
And do I have to like draw it out? Or how's it
we
work?
take photos, like every view, and then we just, I normally give you the mirror first, and then we go over your photos, and I don't like this, I don't like that. And I say, okay, well, this is what we can do to help this is what we can do to help that. Yeah.
Are you talking me out of it?
Fuck no.
No.
I told you my kid's tuition goes up, man. You do guide people, but honestly, by the time people see me, they are like, they want it. We have a system to.
Who wants it? You're married.
No, well, they can still want it. You can bark, you just can't bite. So in the large majority of my patients, now I've kept it through COVID are flying in. So I start with a virtual. Most of my stuff is virtual. So I'm just doing a virtual consultation.
And now you're allowed to, right? Is that allowed?
With cosmetics, we can get by with.
Insurance covers nothing.
I don't think, no, it's all cash. So
you're like a cash 4 a.m. bar.
It's all cash.
Cash only. Give me some cash.
Not even credit cards.
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, I'm still learning whether or not that's worth it. But yeah, so they do virtuals. I tell them, okay, I think we're going to do this. I give them like a game plan. They fly in the night before surgery. We do the surgery. They fly out 2 days later. It's crazy.
What's the best country outside the United States you think where their plastics forward and you're like, they're actually pretty good over there?
There's a lot. Turkey for hair transplant. Listen, the best plastic surgeon in the world, me. Only thing that makes
Dr. Cauglin is the best plastic surgeon in the world. You heard here, sponsoring our podcast, by the way. Now, our new sponsor.
This is on the record. It's really what makes us good is just repetition. The best person in the world versus the worst person in the world, our dexterity, our hands are probably a lot closer than people think. It's about like the number of cases you do over and over is the reality. So like I said, hair transplant in Turkey, everybody goes to Turkey to get their hair done, right? They have like a machine. They do it every day. There's tech, so they're good at it. In Brazil, the butt lift, like the Brazilian butt, that's where they came up. There's a ton of plastic surgery in Brazil. Iran, actually, rhinoplasties are huge.
Yeah, the noses. Everyone has a nose job.
Everybody, the classic Iranian nose is strong, so.
What can you do to mine?
You don't need anything.
Really?
Yeah, you don't need anything. Don't worry about it.
He's just trying to get spots.
Yeah. Just trying to get some spots in there. So, yeah, I would say in like city like Chicago, like all I do now is the jawline. I don't do rhinos. I don't do blephs. I send them to other people. So like this is all I do. It's like, boom, I don't do anything else.
There's a surgery that I knew, a girl who I think gets too much plastic surgery, a friend of a friend, and she did this thing in Turkey where like they put a string in here or something.
Yeah, the threads, yeah.
And then it like stays in there.
Yeah.
It looks like a cat now.
Most of them absorb, but yeah, I do threads.
What's a thread?
It's
I do Instagram threads, but what's a thread?
Yeah, it's not like that. It was before those. It's like half the thickness of a toothpick, double the length, and a little bit more flexible, and it goes in, has these little barbs on it, and it just kind of it gives you a very subtle lift. It's not, if she looks like a cat, she did more in the threads.
And you think threads, but then you do actual surgery to like lift someone's jawline.
Yeah, I actually just did a face-off on one of the CEOs of the thread lifting companies. I took a bunch of videos because people are bitching that you can't do face-offs after the threads, which is, I don't know why they would say that. Almost everybody we operate on now has had stuff for many years, you have to adjust your approach a little bit, different instruments kind of thing. But yeah, the threads, they're really subtle, honestly. Like, people don't like them because of that. Most of them absorb in like 3 months.
Are facelifts as dangerous as they were like 20 years ago?
Yeah, probably we're just better at it. People are doing more of it. Yeah, it's the danger is always there with every surgery, And I tell patients, the only way to decrease risk is to do it over and over and over. Like, that's what you want, man. You want the person who does it over and over.
Are you sure you didn't take any classes in sales?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good marketing myself. Yeah.
The only way to decrease risk is you just got to have more surgeries.
And more filler, more bigger lips, bigger butts. It's the reality. And listen, like that's why people come to me now for like something on a rhinoplasty. I'm like, go see the guy that does or the girl that does rhinoplasties every day. You don't want me to do it. I can do it. Like I'm technically trained to do it. I've done thousands of them actually, but there's people that do it better. So I stopped doing them.
They killed Joan Rivers.
Actually, they were doing an esophagoscopy. They were looking at her vocal cords.
Who's Caspis?
Esophagoscopy.
Okay,
looking
her
at the
esophagus?
Yeah, I mean, they did kill her. You're right. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go on the record saying I don't want anybody, lawyers reaching out to me or anything.
You used to work with Michael Jackson's doctor, right?
I know.
And you guys thought about opening a practice at one point?
We kept in touch. But so they did kill her, Joan Rivers. You're right. But it was a medical treatment. I mean, it was a medical procedure.
One of the best joke writers of all time.
Joan Rivers? Oh, really?
Yeah. She had thousands of note cards of like just different jokes constantly.
Yeah, she was brilliant. She also got looking a little goofy towards the end there.
She's looking goofy for about 30 years.
Yeah. But
so what about the guy? What about the guy in high school who had huge fucking ears, and then he comes back from University of Michigan year 2, and his ears are normal? What happened?
That's easy. It's otoplasty. I could use it.
It's called otoplasty?
Otoplasty, yep. You just, prominentis is the definition of what he had. It's like prominent ears, essentially, in Latin. But otoplasty, you just pin it back like that to the head.
There's a lot of doctors, Doc. I got to say, there's a lot of doctors who, in life, there's some fat personal trainers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you paying $130 an hour for this? There are hair doctors who don't have good hair, and some of the most renowned in the country. So I'm like, what is it that makes you not want to do it?
Yeah, I'm with you.
There are, and in your field, there might be plastics guys who've never got plastics themselves. So if I'm a patient, why should I trust that BS?
The key about this field, nobody needs any of it. Like, I'm not doing this to save anybody's life,
You're doing this to make the money and go to Madrid.
I'm trying to
get a second wife.
I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to get them laid. It's that simple, right? So, you don't need it. Like, if you don't want it, don't get it. It's like one of my buddies gives me shit. He's like, "Oh, you're a plastic surgeon. You're greedy. This is bullshit medicine." I was like, "Dude, this is the most honest medicine there is. You want a facelift? It's $30,000. If you don't need it, it's not going to make you live any longer, but it's $30,000. You pay it if you want it. If you don't want it, go live your life." Whereas the other guys are like, "Oh, you got to get your thyroid out." But do they really have to get their thyroid out? Could they watch it for 6 months? So
Hashimoto's.
Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease. You don't need to get it removed for that. Yeah, but it is associated with the thyroid. Good job.
I was pre-med.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
Hashimoto. Yeah. So, anyways, you don't listen. I really don't do much to myself. I need to start because I'm seeing myself on video so much. But it's like not my thing. I just I can. I've done the laser treatments and stuff. It fucking hurts. So I don't like doing it. But nobody needs it. It's just the people that want it. So
what is the laser treatment? So I'm coming into you. I don't want to get under the knife. Yeah. All right. I'm afraid of that. But for upkeep, what am I doing?
Most of it. I mean, why are you? Even though you.
Well, right now, I wax my back.
Yeah. Okay. You might as well. Well, you're tough to laser, honestly. The back of your back.
It'd be big, it'd be a lot of hair.
Well, you can get burned too. The lasers just target color. So the best person to laser is like a really, really white person with black hair.
Oh,
but so you got to be careful with it. So why do we?
So you said there's laser upkeep for the face.
Oh yeah. It's just,
so what's that?
Laser is a general term, but there's just things to kind of reverse some of it. You lose collagen, you lose elasticity, the bone gets absorbed, some of the fat pads atrophy. So we just tackle all of them. You just tell me what you want to change, and I.
So that's non-invasive laser.
Yeah, those are in the clinic, awake. Most of them, you could have done this. You could have done it yesterday, and we could be doing this podcast today.
And it's like that. I can't resolve the collagen epidemic as getting older with just having bone broth.
Not that I know of, and I wouldn't have the house in Spain if you could.
What do you think of those? Like that one guy who pays $2 million a year to stay young. Or not doctor, Gary Brecka, who says he's this guy who worked with Dana White.
Oh, okay.
And he says for $10,000, he puts you on a plan, reverse ages you 25 years. The biohacking these days. I mean, you're a physician, so have you followed it?
No, not really. And the data's not really in yet, right? We need to wait 30 years to see if it worked. But I look into it I intermittent fast. I only eat 2 hours out of the day. I only drink black coffee. Because that one's probably the most proven of all of the anti-aging things. At least not necessarily your looks, but the life prolonging qualities of them. So I'm researching them, but the data's just not in because it's all new. So you just don't know. The intermittent fasting, they've done on rats for years. It's the only thing that has increased the lifespan of a rat.
Yeah, and it's does like make internal tumors in the body like
yeah, I mean, you just
smaller and
starve
stuff?
them, right? I mean, tumors are really highly active metabolically. So if your body doesn't have energy, then it's going to die out. Like it's going to be one of the first things to die off, or maybe not the first thing, but it makes sense. I mean, I don't know the literature on that, but it makes sense physiologically.
If you had the time, because you have a couple kids, you have a thriving practice, now you're going to pursue stand-up comedy. I don't know why. I don't suggest that to anybody. I think you should stay in school and don't do drugs. Don't be a sad clown. Yeah, stay in school. Or YouTube is now school. Things have changed.
Yeah.
But what other pursuit in medicine would you want to take if you had the time that piques your interest?
Yeah, I'm where I'm at now. I probably wouldn't change my approach.
You were in it for the money, not for saving people.
I just wanted the cash, dude. I mean, the cash is nice. Don't get me wrong. And look, I took today off. I was like, fuck it. I'm taking today
cash
off.
is king.
No, I don't make
no titty jobs today. Here you are, Doc.
I don't get paid today, right? So, like, that's how it works for me. I can.
No, we are not paying him on this podcast. He's actually paying us.
Wait, I'm not getting paid for it? No. I thought you said. So but. Yeah, no, I like and I really like what I do. I mean, I operate every day now, so for me it works. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I would operate somehow, but this one's nice because I can really manage it how I want.
Do you consider yourself a breast implant connoisseur?
Well, no, I don't do any breasts. I only do face. But
you don't do breasts at all?
I don't do any breasts. I mean, I probably do more chin implants than anybody in the world.
Is that where the money's at? Where's the moolah at, Docky?
Probably... I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's literature on it, but the face is probably where it's at, if I had to bet.
So you said you do the most in the United States, maybe?
I would bet chin implants. I would be willing to put my numbers up. I just actually asked the chin implant company because I'm trying to get a new one made. I do a lot, yeah.
So you're like speaking at conferences and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. This isn't a diss to anybody that teaches at conferences, but they kind of become a little bit of a circle jerk. The conferences, like people, it's just the three people there talking about their techniques
and the slides.
Yeah. And then, a conference, they don't pay you to go to those, or if they do, it's very little. So you fly to Las Vegas for 3 days. Those are like 3 days of production for me. So I did them earlier in my career. Now it's really hard for me to go. I'm speaking at one in May because it's in Chicago, so I can take like 2 hours off and go do it, and then go back and do a case. So it's like
Big Pharma. Of all of the big pharma companies, which one owns you?
Again, since I'm surgical, I can get away without it a little bit. There's of the fillers, Juvederm Ultra Plus, Vabella, Velura, Voluma, Restylane, Lift, Define, Refine, Bellatero, Bellafil, RHA 1, 2, 3, 4, Sculptra, Radius. There's like 35 of them. I play nice with all of them, for the record.
Is there one you want to get in a bidding war with?
No,
maybe?
I love them all equally.
They scare you though, right?
You don't fuck with them.
That William Wallace scene where those dukes are sleeping at night and William's on the
you don't mess with
he's on the horse.
Yeah. I play nice with them all. They're all good. They're all equally good.
Ozempic,
yeah. Ozempic, we had about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when they started doing the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass stuff, we saw this to this degree where people lost like 100 pounds overnight. For me, it's probably a good thing, honestly, because when you're 40 or 50 and you lose 100 pounds, your face goes to shit. So a lot of people are coming.
You lose collagen, or what am I losing if I just lose a bunch of weight?
If just the whole, the superficial, like fat people age well. You see fat people, like when they're 50, they look good. Their face looks good. It's the skinny people that really age. That's why the Brad Pitt comment, like, I don't know how he's doing it, but typically fat people age better.
But not the visceral fat. According to Dr. Peter Attia, outlive.
Sorry.
Shout out Dr. Peter Attia, outlive.
I'm specifically talking about the face. It's definitely not healthy for you to be fat, but the face looks better when you're fat, when you're old. So they lose that fat, the face looks worse. So then they come for fillers, for fat transfer. I take fat from their belly, put it in their face, But Ozempic, I think it's helping a lot of people.
But the jury's not out yet.
It's funny. I did a post that's doing really well on, hey, remember when everybody was scared to get the COVID shot and now everybody's injecting Ozempic once a week, this like random medication, like subcutaneous injection every week for like 2 years, it is out though. They've been using that medication for glucose intolerant patients for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So they're not. We haven't been using it in people who are 10 pounds overweight. But the medication, I mean, I don't know 100% how long it's been out, but at least 3 years it's been on the market.
So now we've found a way to weaponize it.
Essentially, yeah. Now, I mean, those industries, man. If you get one of those industries we mentioned earlier to get involved in Ozempic, like the research is going to bump up. Like the plastic surgery community doesn't mess around in that way. Like if they can make money, they're going to figure it out.
So you plastic surgeons, you guys are pretty neutral. You see all the stuff going on, and you're like, we're just here to make the money.
Honestly,
you guys go ahead with your BS.
I mean, I do make money. I have to live, right? But it's really a fun career. I mean, most people come and see me. They're happy. They're trying to have fun. They're like, So I would say that's the best part. But yeah, it's a pretty, I try to stay neutral, yeah.
And you have colleagues that you work with, like other surgeons that you're your partners too? Mm-hmm. Do you ever just like go to lunch with one of your partners and a person comes in after 6 months later, the facelift, and you look at your partner, let's say his name's Dan, and you're like, Dan, that was one ugly bitch, and now look at her.
A lot. We do it to each other. If you could see our text chains, you'd be surprised. Yeah. I mean, I don't use that terminology.
Yeah, you would never call a woman a bitch. Yeah,
patient like that, but yeah.
Your father.
I mean, give me a break. Some respect.
Why comedy? Because you're a funny guy, man. On Instagram and TikTok, you're
I'll tell you a couple of things. This is good for you. I thought I was going to be a lot better at it than I was. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. And my wife is like, I have the classic plastic surgeon narcissism where I'm just like, I can fucking do that.
I know.
So yeah, I was like, yeah. So for the record, I thought I was gonna be a lot better. And in my office, my administrative duties are way down now. We like joined with a big group. They deal with almost everything. So now I just operate. A while back, I painted. Like I need like a little creative freedom. So this is just where I'm going with it. And it's nice to get out on a Tuesday and Wednesday and just, be by myself. Because I normally go by myself. I don't let anybody know I'm going. I had Andy go once, our mutual friend, because I like people to film me. I just buy a guy a beer and say, hey, can you film me? And then I study the tapes of myself. Like, oh, fuck, I should have, kind of thing. So yeah, it's just like my creative outlet, honestly.
But when you were started on your socials and doing those videos, you did that for fun. You didn't do that for more patients.
No, I originally started doing it for patients. I started YouTube with my old buddy I was talking about. There's YouTube videos of early 2000s, us like just goofing around, talking about lips. And we had this huge head we made out of paper mache. So I started that way. I mean, I'm kind of like a little bit lighthearted. I'm a little bit goofy, maybe. I don't know what you would call me. But so you just, for those sites, what pays off is authenticity. So instead of trying to act overly,
like someone that you're not.
Yeah, overly professional, I just kind of ran with it with my personality, I guess. So, and then, but I get the majority of my patients from social media.
That's gratifying, isn't it? Like when someone comes to my show and they said, I'm a listener, or I watch your YouTube, and I drove from Cleveland. I'm like, what an idiot. You shouldn't have drove that far. I was like, for this, but thank you.
I mean, it's exactly. It's, and then it's for better or worse, perpetual, right? Because you're like, fuck, I got to make more videos.
Yeah. Well, there's that desire, hunger, and then the addiction.
A little bit of
perception. What's that called?
Perception drift, I guess, would probably be more in this scenario. It would probably be what leads me to go do stand-up, thinking you're way better than you are. So I would say that. My first stand-up ever, I did 25 minutes. I didn't really know. Like I had an hour. I thought I was supposed to do like an hour. I was like thinking Netflix special, They finally played me off. It was with Andy, actually. He videoed it. I have it on tape. And nobody laughed for like 25 minutes. I mean, it was that bad. I thought it was good, though. They have that bright-ass lights on you. I was like, fuck, I killed it.
Wow, no laughs for 25 minutes. You just keep going. That's like
I powered through it.
Like they're dead, and you just keep cutting
I got a couple, but I think they were sympathy laugh. It was like, oh, okay, this guy's kind of hurting.
Yeah, because when you texted me, it was funny because I was roasting Andy in the group chat. I said, so I work at this for 12 years, my sad, long career, and some fucking guy who's a plastic surgeon wants to pick my... I said, does it say University of How to Be a Comedian? I said, Andy, what is this?
This was Andy, not me, by the way. Yeah,
and everyone's roasting Andy. And then they start, like our buddy Cubby, actually, he starts
Is he in
writing,
comedy too?
No, he's just one of our buddies, but he starts writing. He's like, hey, Chris, I'm 44 years old. I am thinking of a career change. I wanted to see how I could do this.
If you could help me, yeah.
And it just became all these funny text messages
Ripping
of,
on.
hey,
I
can I
believe
pick your brain? Hey, can I pick your brain?
And it's fun, you know, my barber actually, Fernando Sosa, Mona Lisa Fades, very nice place.
Fernando Fades, yeah.
Fernando Fades, Mona Lisa Fades, Fernando Sosa. He was in comedy like L.A. He was Zany's like Second City a little bit. Yeah, maybe you crossed paths at one point, but he said like the comedy community can be a pretty aggressive or like not super friendly. I would say the opposite, but I mean, I'm at the I'm with the other schmucks, you know, at the stand-up. So everybody's like chumming up, laughing for each other kind of thing. But like I think any field, when you get to the more elite levels, it becomes more competitive. When it's paying the bills for people, they're going to be more competitive. Like I'm a dick about most plastic surgeons.
Yeah, but now this is just, everyone has their own perspective. But like for comedy and probably for plastic surgery too, you're doing well. You have a good practice. If you hear about some other surgeon in Champaign, Illinois, you're like, sure, let him or her do well. And that's it. The level now, you're fighting for maybe the big chin client or the, you know, so there's that big chin patient that maybe somebody else wants. For comedy, after a while, you kind of just realize I have to worry about myself.
Yeah.
Like it's like I got to do well. If these guys are doing bad, or these girls are doing bad, wish them the best. But we're all kind of on our own path.
Well, and when comedy's hot, like if SNL's popping, you know, people like it. They're going to go to the local clubs. They're going to see it.
Sure.
So, I mean, plastic surgery is the same. I mean, if like during the COVID years, you know, during COVID and during the Great Depression were like huge spikes in cosmetic surgeries. It's weird when people got
really?
For whatever reason.
I thought we couldn't do surgeries because we had to be locked down in the house.
No, so like when we were locked down, okay, we were only officially locked down for like 8 weeks. You know, and then of the 2 COVID years, the large majority we were available.
8 weeks.
8 weeks. 8 weeks I was only shut down for 8 weeks.
So then people would go back to the elective, because you're an elective surgery, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had to mask and we had all the stupid protocols. So, but we were doing.
You said it. I didn't. You said it.
I mean, fair. It's fair. I think we're going to learn that.
Clip that.
I think we had all those very, no, I mean, I think we'll probably learn that most of those protocols were stupid. At the time, we didn't know. So, I mean, I would do it. I probably would have done it again. I mean, I would do it again if that's what, you know, the data showed at that time. So we'll see. That data's also not out, really, whether or not it was worth it. But anyways, we did a shit ton. Like, probably my best years were just after COVID, end of COVID. Nobody was traveling. People had money. They were working from home. You know.
Most businesses, those people. The 6 months after the vaccine came out,
they would come to the clinic and have their computer in the side while I was doing their filler. I mean, they were like working from home. So, yeah. But anyways,
has it slowed down now, or you have a ultra level of patients that doesn't really matter?
No. Yeah, we're popping pretty good still, I'd say.
So dinner's on you.
Dinner's on me. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's early. We could do lunch maybe, but yeah.
No, fasting.
Yeah. Yeah. Dinner. I eat from 6 to 8.
6 to 8? Probably with your family.
Most of the time. Unless I'm trying to go do fucking stand up.
You should still do it.
I'm going to still do it. Yeah, I'm not quitting. I'm like I said, I think I'm good. I have that narcissism that is built in plastic surgeons.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's just there.
Not you being good, but I could see the narcissism.
I'm not good, so yeah. But I'm not even getting better. I'm learning why I'm bad, but
it's not like not because
like I said, I thought it was going to be way easier. I know that's super it's super ignorant, but yeah, I mean it's the thing, I guess.
One of the reasons I wanted to do comedy, and there are some comics who would admit it or not admit it, is I was 19. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons like listening to cassette tapes when I was 12 of Steve Martin, Bill Cosby, like Eddie Murphy, that my cousin gave me those cassette tapes. But another reason was you're 19, 20, you're watching Comedy Central Premium Blend, and I'm like, these guys aren't that funny. But it might not have been your humor, or like it might not have made me laugh.
But you think
they ate shit so many times to get there.
Yeah.
And then you have to learn the hard way. It's just the hard knocks is what it is. Like you go do it, but so you say you're doing it now. I would just, I have no recommendation, but if I would just do it twice a week.
Yeah.
And then every week try to write a new personal story or a joke, maybe a mechanical joke, and you just keep doing it. And eventually, if you're having fun, because you have a job, you have your social media following, you know, the pressure is less, but you keep trying it and you get good at it.
Yeah, I would say that. And the hard part is like for most of those places, you got to go at 5 p.m., stay there till the set. You got to submit your name on the list. Then you got to the show or whatever doesn't start till 7 or 8. I mean, I'm there till like 11 p.m. My wife's like, "You better be home by midnight and sober." And I'm like, "It's gonna be hard, but okay." So that's probably my biggest hurdle.
The data's out on alcohol.
Not good for you.
They're saying not even like a little bit's good for you. Technically, you should just have none.
That's what they're saying.
What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I drink. I try to curb it. I did dry January.
Yeah?
I did it every year, yeah. It's
No sex with your wife for a whole month?
pretty much. On the record. Make her watch this. The data's out. It's not good for you. But, a lot of things aren't good for you, so.
What about mushrooms? Everyone's doing these psychedelics. Middle-aged guys are really into it.
Yeah, I've never done mushrooms. I really don't know much about them. But there's probably a role for depression, I bet, to kind of reset. Ketamine is a dissociative, and that has pretty good literature on it. This is not medical advice, for the record. You can put, Austin, you can have a little disclaimer down there. I don't really know mushrooms, honestly. Yeah. I don't have good insight onto it. There's a lot of people doing it, and I think, it seems to be relatively safe. So that's how it's going to mass produced.
I have a question about the woman's anatomy.
Okay,
as a physician,
yeah,
it was about 8-9 years ago. I met a female, and we had gone out a couple times. I went back to her house.
Good start.
She had a good start, consensually. She had a cat, but she had no. This is back in the day, like 9 years ago, where everybody had photos. You had a frame of like your mom and dad, maybe your prom, maybe your senior formal in college. Like, there's no pictures of like her youth, And she's about 24, 25 years old, and we started to hook up, and there was a level of dryness there, so I thought maybe it was me. I wasn't really sure. It was very little. Okay. It was very little, her area. Yeah. And so then I thought...
It's called vagina.
Vagina, yeah. So then I thought at one point, maybe she could be, at one point, a he. So I was very nervous, and I started looking, because I was a little bit intoxicated. I went to the bathroom. I started looking under her sink for like a detachable penis or something, or like something that shows me. Because then I saw no pictures of her when she was younger as a female. So I thought, I'm in a guy's house. Who is now...
I see. It makes sense. Yeah, I understand.
So I wasn't sure.
Careful with how you say that.
Yeah, gotta say. So what I'm saying is it so good 10 years later that we're not going to know? I'm going to be pounding Carrie, and she used to be Chris.
I would say yes, you could. That you could probably get into that scenario. Definitely with a few drinks. Another downfall of alcohol, and they don't publish that one in the data.
That you might sleep with someone who's transgender, not knowing based on your alcohol intake.
You could, yeah. They are pretty good. I only do the face portions of the transitions, so I had never made a vagina or a dick. But they are pretty dang good, yeah. I mean, it takes multiple procedures.
So you're out there fucking guys like us who are straight, and we want to be with a female.
I'm not fucking guys like you, but I'm messing you up, yeah.
But I mean, you're not fucking me yet. Yeah. But like we haven't had any drinks. But like what I'm saying is, you're out there making somebody who wants to transition, and you're making them look like a very pretty female or male.
Correct.
You want to trick us. You're a trickster. I mean, you're Dr. Trickster.
It's one of those complicated scenarios, for all intents and purposes, they're a man or a woman, or they feel like a man or a woman. So I'm just making them look like they feel. Like you feel like you're 25. You're not 25, but you want to look 25.
Yeah. So I should come to your office. We should talk about that. Yeah, how to make me look 25.
And we're also pimping those people. Then those young girls are going to be like, that guy, he's good, man. He looks good. He's like 25. I'm also pimping them, right?
Yeah. So you're an age pimp.
I pimp everybody.
You're a pimp.
I'm a pimp, yeah. Dr. C the pimp.
Dr. Pimp.
Yeah.
Dr. Pimp.
Dr. Pimp, I like it.
Dr. Ben Cauglin the pimp.
I'll take it. Yeah. I mean, my job is essentially to get people laid.
Is that what life is? Just getting laid?
If I could get another person laid every day, I would be a happy man. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to help people get laid.
Even if they're bad at it?
Even if especially if they're bad at it. Those are the ones who need help.
Can you help with that? Like if I'm bad at it, can you put something in there that makes me good at it? Can you make my penis vibrate the way their vibrator does?
I cannot, again, but there are people there's definitely penis implants, pumps. I don't know if they vibrate yet.
Can you put something down there for me?
There's pumps. And people are putting filler in the penis.
And what's that do?
You know, I don't really get it either. There's a lot. I have nurses tell me, "Oh, you should be doing it." I'm like, "Fuck, I'm not going to do that. You're going to necrose off some guy's wiener, and he's going to like murder us all." But they just fill it up. I guess it's so when you would only work when you're flaccid, your dick will look bigger.
That's more of a locker room thing. I needed that in high school.
Yeah, maybe.
When we had a shower with no.
I guess if you're at the gym and you want chicks to be like, "Oh,
my little turtle peepees walking around," like I needed that.
Yeah, it's dangerous though. I think
it is dangerous.
I would say yeah. I've never done it, but it's definitely not FDA approved. There's going to be no trials of it, I'm sure. There's a guy actually, his name is Zimmerman. He's the Dick Doc on TikTok.
The Dick Doc on TikTok?
The Dick Doc on TikTok. He's a funny guy. And he does it a lot.
What about people who want maybe just their private parts to be a different color? Like they identify as a different race just down there.
I haven't seen that.
Do you guys do that?
I haven't seen that.
Might see it soon, the way the country is going.
I think it's definitely not out of the question, and I'm 100% positive it's happened before, yes. I mean, I don't know specifically, but, you know, crazy shit is requested.
Here's my problem with pimps like you. Mm-hmm. So...
I like that. Now you're already calling me a pimp. I like it.
So let's say I go see you. I'm 300 pounds. I'm pre-diabetic. I have all the fat in the face, which is good. And does the doctor say to me before he's like, I could get rid of this fat, does he say, hey, have you tried diet? Have you tried exercise? Or are they like 25,000?
No, I mean, the large majority of us would say it. I definitely would because it makes us look better. I mean, my best outcomes are people I operated on, but they also lost 50 pounds. You know, so, and then if they live longer, they come and spend more money with us.
Okay, so you do.
I do. I definitely, I mean, the intermittent fasting thing, I put it on all my sites. I really try to help people with it. Because again, it only makes them healthier, makes me look better, makes the outcomes better. So it's a win-win. And then there's a lot of people, one of my good buddies, he does a lot of body and he has BMI cutoffs because there's good literature that the complications are a lot higher with a BMI over 30, for instance.
What's a BMI?
Body mass index. So it's like height over weight, you know. Like it's a general look at your, like I'm almost overweight. My BMI is like 24, 25.
Do you think those indexes was made by an anorexic girl?
You know, I mean, they could maybe change the mark, but it's just math. So,
I mean, you're a thin, in-shape guy, and the BMI index, whoever made this,
yeah, I mean,
was somebody who was probably just bulimic and upset.
I don't know. I could lose 5 or 10 pounds.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I get below it. I go, I oscillate a little bit, but I don't know. No, I think that it's probably a healthy weight. Sorry, man. I hate to be Debbie Downer.
Yeah, I got to stop having
I mean, it
pizza.
probably was made by a thin person. We used to be thinner.
Was America thinner?
America, everybody was thinner. Well, not everybody. Of course, there's places in the world where people would love to be heavier.
Are people thinner in Spain?
Oh, tons.
There's a lot of good ass down there.
There's a lot of good ass down there. I mean, like when our friends from Spain come here, they're like, dude, everybody's huge.
And they're eating at 9 p.m. and they have like 7 different small plates coming out.
You know, but it's all homemade. They never go out. Like it's a different culture in that way. Yeah, and food is like an event. Like many cultures have that. They celebrate food a little more.
Persian culture's like that
exactly.
too.
Almost every other culture other than America. We are like we're like the TV dinner generation.
Yeah, or eat Chick-fil-A in your car.
Yeah, I mean, my mother rarely made a dinner. We were always like, my mom worked when we were young, so we were like TV dinner, out of a box, you know.
In Flint?
In Flint, yeah.
You siblings?
Older sister, younger brother.
What do they do?
It's funny because I don't know where either of them work right now. My both sales generally. My sister works with ophthalmology practices one way or another. My brother's software sales, like Andy.
So growing up, were you just looking out the window in Flint like, I got to get out of here?
No, I like Flint. I mean, I like to go back. It's just, for the kind of stuff I wanted to do, you need to get out of there. Yeah. I go back a lot.
Your wife is from Spain, from Madrid.
From Madrid.
Very attractive area of people.
Yeah.
Does she have any cousins that would be interested?
She has a lot of cousins.
Want to put the little bell out there?
Yeah, I can set it up. Yeah. Yeah, let me think about it.
Next 20 years of your career, what is your goals?
Man, that's a tough one. You know, my surgery practice, honestly, I'm cooking, you know, so I don't really need to do much more there. So that's kind of why I'm like
comedy.
Yeah, like looking into. I'm not gonna quit surgery. I like surgery, but I'm doing enough. You know, my neck and my back hurt. My father was a roofer. I remember I used to roof with him. And he'd be like, you know, you're doing this so when you're old, you don't have to use your back. You can use your head. And I call him like, dude, my back and my neck hurt, man. Because I'm operating every day, you know, like bent over, I have a headlight on.
And you have to wear my cousin's a invasive cardiologist. He has to wear that big thing
I don't
on
wear
top.
lead, but I have a headlight on. But it's just, I operate every day now.
That's how your dad is the thing, because you're good with your hands.
Yeah, he was a laborer, you know. He was like, you know, we used to roof. Now I make more money than a normal laborer, but I'm just an expensive laborer.
When you met your wife, were you doing the whole flirty thing of like, you know, we could fix this, maybe do this?
No, I mean,
like,
I was in med school, so I didn't know what the fuck.
Were you doing like the itsy bitsy spider on her back, or
no? I just it was hang-ups, man. We were dancing
salsa.
Hang up? No, it was like an '80s night, I think. And then we went the next day. We met up at the Lodge, under classic Chicago.
Does she have an accent?
Yeah, she lived in.
So like Penelope Cruz, in
kinda.
Spanglish.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like we speak Spanish at home.
You're fluent in Spanish?
Yeah, I speak Spanish to my kids.
And did you speak it before you met your wife or no?
Nope, I took French in high school because of my sister. But then I took a couple courses, and then like my oldest is 8 now, so we only speak Spanish at home. So I probably speak like an 8-year-old, but
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because she really wanted the kids to speak Spanish, you know.
Any comedy questions before we wrap it up for yourself, or stuff you want to know about comedy?
You know, I've learned, and you can reinforce it or not, it's got to be true. I can't make up shit. So what's your feedback on that? Like, so I have stuff that's happened to me that I think is funny, and I say that, and I can say it does decent. But if I try to like create a scenario and make it up, I seem to bomb.
I think there's some funny guys and girls, tons, doing comedy and comics that you see who are prolific writers, and they're so good at writing, and whether it's a current event or whatever, but it's still their perspective too.
So it's their true perspective.
So it's like Jeselnik, like it's his perspective, but like he's so funny and he's such a good writer of the way he writes it. So it is his point of view still. Seinfeld, it's still his point of view.
Yeah.
Joan Rivers, great writer. It was her point of view. Me, I am nowhere near like pre-Cosby before he did all that stuff, but or like Bill Burr. But for me, it was always exaggerated truth. So I tell a true story. I want you to know that I'm in pain, and I want you to think it's funny. So I tell you just the truth.
Yeah.
So it's almost too revealing where, you know, I've been in former relationships like 5-6 years ago, and the girls would be like, my friends told me what you said. Like, and it was more, but my point of view is always kind of shitting on myself in the end, not the person.
The self-deprecation seems to be.
But you can't do too much, but you find your way. It took me a minute. Like now, when I do it, and friends of mine we're friends in the comedy world, like they want to watch it because like I'll just talk about that week, and sometimes there's not always crazy laughs, but it's good that you want to talk about a lot of people talk about their kids and their wife, like Gaffigan, all those guys. You just have to think, I have to be Ben. So I got to talk about what Ben wants to talk about. So it's okay. Talk about your work. Talk about everything.
I tried to work a little bit, and it's hard because I'm coming through with a plastic surgeon. I got to change the perspective a little bit because it's hard to relate with plastic surgery. Like if I was talking to a group of plastic surgeons, it's funny. But I was saying shit that I thought was hilarious, and people are like, a rich plastic surgeon doesn't fit me, you know?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the room. Yeah. So if you're at an open mic, I had a joke at an open mic 10 years ago where it was like, when we were growing up, my mom would make us clean before the cleaning lady came. And that was just so stupid. Like, I didn't understand that's her job. Yeah. Like, why can't
a bunch of hipster
why
people.
Can't this girl? And they're just like, I'm a cleaning lady. Like, you're rich. And so it is the room. But what I'll say is, I don't know. I mean, just do your shit. Like, it doesn't like. But plastic surgeon Al Madrigal gave me a tip like 8 years ago, and it was say you used to own a bar, and then talk about like what used to happen to you. You know,
Yeah.
because then the audience identifies with you. 'Cause
Oh,
they're like,
I see.
wait, you're a magician or you're a comedian? Like,
Yeah, okay.
Because there's a lot of teachers who say I'm a teacher, but a lot of them say I used to teach. Because
Yeah.
now the audience won't flip. Because sometimes you only have 10, 15 minutes, if that, to get them on your
most of them are
side.
5 minutes,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have 30 seconds to get them on your side. But
Yeah.
So I used to be a plastic surgeon. I used to
Yeah.
be practicing. When I was practicing, this happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why I chose this, you know,
Yeah.
and then go into your shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the last couple I've done, I didn't let anybody know I was an actor. Because I feel like it just like was starting it off wrong. They were like, who the fuck is this guy?
I would say just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you know what I'm going to do? I want to be able to, because I'm not going to be able to go to the open mics, you know, like 2 a week. I just can't do it, you know. It's not feasible. So I'm building a little studio in my basement in a closet. And I'm going to do some jokes. I'm going to edit. I'm pretty good at video editing now to, you know, novice degree. And I'm going to post them on TikTok just by myself and kind of make it
Get in
seem
the
like
closet.
I'm somewhere. In the closet.
Yeah, get
Cauglin
in the closet.
yeah. Cauglin coming out of the closet.
Cog-
I mean,
Cauglin-
the names are, you know.
Cauglin in the closet.
Cauglin
in the closet with Cog.
I mean,
in the closet with Cauglin holding my cog.
like Cauglin needs to come out of the closet. Something like, you know,
Yeah.
it's endless, the names. And then I'm going to harness like because I have a little following already.
Dr. Ben Cauglin, what's the name of your practice?
It's funny because we're a little complicated. Many Faces of Chicago is my tag. I'm now with this bigger group, Impressions Chicago.
And
But we're in Water Tower Place.
so you would be interested in sponsoring our pod where we just give you shout outs and then
maybe.
we come in and get our lips done for free.
Yeah, maybe we can, you know, or like I talked about, the filler in the penis.
This has been great. Dr. Ben Cauglin, changing the color of my penis and filling it. Tell your parents you love them. We love you. This has been Chris and one day Kyle explore the universe with Dr. Ben Cauglin. Thank you.
Swap to white guys.